Hi guys, I'm October, but you can call me Toby. Thanks for coming to spend some time with me today. Today I will be sculpting, and I wanted to make something small that I can have on my desk that will bring me some good vibes and joy throughout the year. So come along as I sculpt some cute little woodland critters for my desk. These guys won't be in a specific style, they won't be super chibi, they won't be super realistic. I'm just going to make them kind of how I picture them up in my head. So let's hop into sculpting. No references for this one, and we will see how it goes. Materials for this sculpting round will be polymer clay, rolling pin, aluminum foil, my clay tools, and my new clay tools arrived today. There are not a lot of them, but let's open them up if I can and have a look. I'm very excited to get some of these. So these are silicone ended brushes. On the other end are different types of ball points and little like nibs. They're a hard metal. These are silicone, so that should be a lot of fun to try out with sculpting. All right, let's hop into it. Alrighty, to get started with this, so I want to do some woodland creature sculptures, and these are the woodland creatures that I sort of have in mind, but I'm going to sketch up the poses, I suppose. So I'm going to try and sketch them up just so that I have a reference that I can follow. I think I'm aiming for like softer features, more baby cub like features, perhaps a bit more chibi than realistic. So I'll do up some sketches. We'll see how they turn out, but it'll give me an idea to work off of, so I'm not just working blind when I'm sculpting. So the drawings are not the best, but the general idea is that the hedgehog's very simple. This wasn't meant to be a really difficult sculpting sesh. I just want to do something fun and easy to get the year started that I will enjoy and I'll enjoy having around to look at. So these are the sort of poses that came to mind when I thought of these animals. I can picture the raccoon's face, like I would have a really angular, pointy little face on it, but I just can't picture what I want it doing with its body. Deer, other than having a sleeping deer, I'm not too sure what I want to do. For now, I'm going to leave these three off. I might come back and revisit them another time, maybe in this style, maybe in a different style, we'll just see. But for now, I'm gonna get started with these. Alrighty, so I have my sketches. I have made up a couple little foil blobs, I guess. You can kind of see the hedgehog in the shape of this one, little bunny guy here in this little bean. I'm thinking bear for this one because it's slightly curved forward and I want the bear kind of hunched over a little bit, and the fox nice and tall, angular and elegant. So got some little beans. I don't know if I'll use them because these are meant to be quite small, so I may end up just using clay. I've conditioned the clay, so I'm currently using Vaseline, which is 100% petroleum jelly, to get my clay to a lovely workable consistency. I found that the Vaseline does a really good job conditioning the clay, and so I'm really enjoying how much more workable this is and how much less stiff it is to use when it is conditioned with the clay. Sorry, conditioned clay. In terms of conditioning, I'm just taking a bit of Vaseline on a couple fingers, swiping it over the clay, rolling it as best I can, and then rolling it out several times, stretching, warming, kneading. Yeah, I should really invest in a pasta roller because that would make life a lot easier. But for now, I am just getting mini arm workouts, so not the worst thing. I'm gonna roll this out. I don't really know who I want to start with. Maybe the hedgehog. Just getting a layer of clay over the body of the hedgehog because this body shape's pretty decently what I want. So once I have this clay a little bit more even, let's start at the bottom. I do want a layer on the bottom for these ones. And I'm just gonna smooth this over. Work on the overall shape of the little guy, smoothing out lumps and bumps as best I can. So he's ready for the oven at this stage. Yeah, because I'd like to establish eyes at this point, but not too sure. I'll think on it. If I work out where exactly I want the spines to start from, I'll pop some eyes in, but otherwise I'll bake him like this, and I might just sort of drill out the eyes after baking. So I'm going to put him to the side, he'll get baked. The next one to work on, I do really want to start on the bear, so let's do that. Bear's got a nice flat base. Should be nice and sturdy. And as I said, these are kind of just little beans to start the sculpture off. They're not meant to have too much shape or anything to them. They don't have the heads on them either because these are so small. I didn't think it was necessary. All right, so I will work on the overall shape of this one. This will be the main body and bottom legs, and then I will work on some little, well, they won't be little, they'll be like full length, but I'll work on the front legs, feet, and the head once I have the body and like the side legs coming out. So I'll be back once I've smoothed this out and worked out what I'm doing with it a bit more, when I'm happy to show you the finished result. So I got a little ahead of myself. I was just going to cover the foil for the fox, but I was enjoying myself, and now I kind of have this little fox sculpture happening. So the things I'm not like totally in love with, I love it from the front, just not sure about like the shape on the sides of like the arms coming in. It needs some more definition, and the back, it's just a little bit of a bean from the back, which is fine. It'll look different with ears. Just did a little sort of rounded head, and then I poked out a snout, gave it some definition, sculpted a little nose on the end there, and then just worked the clay down, and some little divots and a nose ridge, divots for the eyes and a nose ridge. So this guy is ready to go into the oven at this stage, because I'm not really sure what else to do with him to make my like of him any stronger. I'm already pretty in love with the shape from the front. There'll be like a fur ruff and stuff, I think, around the neck, so he'll change up a little bit, but he's ready for the oven now. And this is where I'm going to call it for tonight. So my work tonight was the fox, which I didn't record, the bear, which I did record. Oh, and he is tipping over. That's not ideal. And little hedgehog. Oh, he did get a couple of little eyes. I decided that I'd just kind of mark them in. Symmetry is not my forte, but you know, he'll look cute. It's a trust the process thing. And so these guys are ready for the oven. I did not get started on the bunny tonight. I'm really keen for the rabbit. A little nervous to actually do it, given like I want the legs kind of sticking up and a nice big tail like sort of sitting up here, and these legs kind of sticking up like he's reaching for his tail, and his head curved over. Is yeah, I'm really excited to have it done. I'm a little nervous to begin the process because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it, But anyway, so I will get these cooked and I'll see you again when I next sit down to do a bit more work on them. Okay, back again today to do a bit more sculpting on these guys. The little bear is looking pretty good. He's a bit bumpy on the back and stuff. He's giving me monkey vibes from Princess Mononoke. If you're not familiar, I'll pop one up on screen. But yeah, he's giving me vibes of them right now. But that will improve with ears and fur texture, I think. He fell over while baking and the base has swelled out a little bit. So I can either sand that down or just deal with it while sculpting. How that goes. Little Mr. Fox is looking good. Ready for some ears and texture. And Hedgehog is also looking good, ready for some more texture. Bunny has had no progress. We'll see if we get around to Bunny. I'm going to work on these guys a bit more. And then while they're baking, I'll probably work on Bunny. Let's add some ears onto these critters and see if they start to resemble what they're meant to be a little bit more. Now, hedgehogs have quite little ears from memory. Let's start there. Make a couple of little balls, approximately the same size. Roll them up. Honestly, probably still a little too big, but that's okay because I'm gonna have to like smudge them down to attach them anyway. See how these tools go. Alright, one smoothed them pretty good. Yeah, I can definitely get a smoother finish on the clay with these than I can with the metal, and definitely then with my fingerprints being all over everything. Okay, I like that. So I'm just going to try and replicate that on the other ear. So he's got ears, kind of giving possum. We'll see. We'll see if he looks hedgehog at the end or if he's just looking like a weird rat. But, you know, foxy boy. Might be a girl. Alright, let's use these ones for the fox. Just give me that like rounded concave shape. Oh yeah, they're pretty even in their positioning on the head. Let's hop into the tools and secure these and then I can shape them up. More or less secured, so now I can shape them up a little bit. Okay, Foxy's ears are on, fairly smooth. Now, Mr. Bear. Start with a little nose. I don't know how, but I feel like that's giving more pig. Alright, let's just smooth it out for now. Perhaps that's something I can draw on if I feel it's gonna look good in the painting process. Alrighty, did not film it, but I added some little ears. Well, these are kind of big ears on him because I'm going for more of a cub rather than an adult bear. Because bears' ears are fairly small. But I wanted to give this guy some bigger ears. So we've got a little nose happening and some ears. Still not reading 100% bear, but you know, we'll see. He might get there. He might just be an odd looking bear. I'm liking how everyone's looking. It's coming along. So I think I'm going to add a little tail onto this guy. Alrighty, little bear. Got a little tail shape put on the booty there. Thought, before I bait them again, because all I've done is ears, I'm going to do a bit more work on them. So I've rolled up a couple balls and a couple little like tic-tac shapes, and I think these should maybe work out 4 feet. Let's see how that goes. So I'm going to smooth these, not smooth, but like flatten these out into, I guess, like a fat tic-tac shape, and that will give me a flat side and a rounded side. I kind of want to get all the little appendages on and then just do a layer for fur texture, because like these little bits will go on the front, right? The fur texture will come down and I will do the edges so that it's like little bits of fur around the toes, yeah, toes of the bear. as I said, I don't want to have to do a ton of little bakes for these guys. I kind of wanted to do a few rounds of sculpting and have them done and then do the painting. I do think it might be worth shaving down the base of him a little bit. So his little tail I think I'll redo when I do the fur layer. This leg, I'm liking how bulky it is. I'll bulk this one up more next round because I just don't want to mess up. I simplified the toes and the paws. Like, yeah, I was just overcomplicating it, trying to do 5 toe beans on each foot. But I'm really loving how he's looking. He's coming up really cute. I'm gonna sort of plump him up a bit more so he's kind of chubbier and baby looking. But he is ready to go back into bake. Alright, bear and hedgehog have gone to bake. So, Foxy Fox. I've been working on bear for quite a while. I'm happy with the shape of Foxy's face, like his muzzle, sorry. I do want to puff out his little cheeks a little bit, because when I think of fox, I think of like them having a little bit more shape to their cheeks. And I think I want to change up his ears a little. So I'm going to work on that, and just his overall shape I'm pretty happy with. I might shave down his legs a little just so they're a little more like rounded and not so much like slabs. And he'll just come back for final fur texture before painting, hopefully. After shaving everything down, I've got a bit more shape happening. The bear's got little legs and the fox has thick legs. Happy with the face shape now in the ears. Everything's a little rough, but it's not rough enough that it should be a problem when I do fur texture. And there will be a fluffy collar. But I'm going to go pop her into the air fryer to bake. Unfortunately, I do not think Mr. Rabbit is going to happen this time. I think it may just be the 3. So Mr. Rabbit may have to wait for next time. This little bean, I don't even know if this will last, but Mr. Rabbit I think will need to wait their turn until next time, because for this round I'm pretty happy with these 3 and I don't want to take shortcuts on them just so I can get another figure started and finished in the same time frame. I'm going to work on the bear, the hedgehog and the fox this time, and if I come back to this I will do the rabbit. That may come into play at another time in another video, we'll see. But for now I'm going to go bake Mrs. Fox and get the other 2 out of the air fryer. Alright, back again today, and this will be the 3rd round of sculpting I've done on these guys. So everyone has been baked, they're nice and solid now. The plan is to do a final layer in which I'll do all the detail work and fur texture, things like the fox's rough around his neck, her neck. Little bear will get, you know, a bit of a tail revamp because that ended up being a little bit sad looking there. I might end up shaving off, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how bear's looking. I've gone ahead and shaved the base off of the little bear already so that I can just put some clay on there and flatten it out. So he sits a lot, well, he's a little wobbly still, but he sits a lot flatter than he did. He will get a full layer of clay, so fur texture and all the detailing as well. And same for little hedgehog. Not fur detailing on this area, it will be spines, I think. So that's the plan for today and what I expect to do. So I'm just gonna hop straight into it. I've already got my clay conditioned. It's got a decent amount of Vaseline added and it's all rolled out and ready to go. So I'm gonna hop straight into it. I'll just be putting a layer of this on them, doing the fur texture and any other detailing. Let's get into it. Everyone is back from baking today and it is time to paint these little critters. Hedgehog, little Mr. Bear. Considering he started off looking like a some sort of monkey, I'm so happy with how he's coming out. Yeah, focusing too much on Fox. There we go. And then Mrs. Fox. I did have a few little cracks here and there that I have covered over with super glue, so you can see that shine. I did a very thin dollop of super glue and then gave it half a second to set and wiped it off so that I could keep the texture of the fur for painting, but not have these cracks causing trouble. Yes, very happy with how they've come out. Very excited to paint them. So let's hop into it. I'll do a quick background change, get my paints and things ready, and then we'll move on to painting. All right, we've had a little backdrop change. I'm gonna try out using one of these silicone mats that I got for Christmas. I don't have the new paint palette yet, so I think I might just try mixing on here since it's gonna be nice and easy to clean. I'll probably just do it like down this corner where it's out of view, because that's a convenient spot for me to be mixing paints. Color ideas, slightly tempted to do this guy in purples and greens, not sure why, but Mr. Fox, or Mrs. Fox, pardon me, Mrs. Fox. I love when foxes have the white stomach, scruff and tip of the tail, but I also do love when they have the black tips on their legs. So I'm planning to do both of those things, probably white in the ears and then black around the ears, and a little bit of black or white on these extended cheek parts, depending on how I'm feeling. Fox's eyes will be interesting. I haven't painted eyes on something flat for quite a while. This isn't perfectly flat, but we'll see how that goes. And little Mrs. Hedgehog, I think. Yeah. As I said, tempted to do the hedgehog in like purples and greens, not sure why. But I think that would look like a poisonous little critter. The other two I am keeping in the general, like more normal colors. So I think I will just do hedgehog in normal colors, a light beige little face, pink in the ears, pink nose, and then I'll do a dark wash through the spines and then highlight them with lighter tones of browns and blacks and things. So that's where we're at. I'm going to do the washes first and then move on to more detailed painting once the washes are dry. So let's hop into that. Now that I know what I'm doing with these guys, let's have a look what we're using today. Still using up these Creative Place Artist Collection paints. I'll be using white and black, of course. Sticking with my favorite set of three that I've been using for a while now, Scarlet Lake, Cadmium Yellow Hue and Ultramarine Deep in the blue. I will be introducing the Burnt Umber because I'm planning to use a lot of browns. Mixing these, I do tend to get more greeny tone browns. I want some warmer browns and tans and things, so I'm going to be using this probably mixed with the yellow and the red quite a bit to get softer tones for muzzles and things. So that will be the paints I'm using today, and then just my usual sort of mix of very cheap brushes that I have at the moment. This one's getting a little on the stiff side, but they will be fine for today's work till I need something more detailed. So I'm going to mix some paints up now and we'll hop into those wash layers, getting the base colors down for the animals. This is where I am at after the first layers. It took a couple little layers to get the colors in and cover up all that white. Bottom is not done yet. Not sure where this blue is coming from. But anyway, that's more or less done now. I'll sort the bottoms out later. Hedgehog is in that same color, and Fox a little bit mottled depending on where the paint sat a bit thicker, but Fox is this lovely dark orange, which is darker off camera. Like it's looking brighter on camera than it does in real life. Okay, I have mixed up a few other colors, so I'm going to get into painting some more detailed bits. I'm going to start off with Mr. Hedgehog. I've mixed up this very pale beige tone, and that is going to be Mr. Mrs. I don't know, we'll see where it goes. Hedgehog's face fur tones. Just gonna try and layer that on semi-thickly to not need as many coats. Okay, that's going to take a couple layers, so I will let Hedgehog dry. Come back for Mr. Bear with his blue foot. Yeah, really don't know where that blue is coming from. I mixed this, it started off as a brown and I just mixed a bit more red and white in to get this pinky, dusty pinky tone that I'm going to use for the feet. I am going to keep working on details like this, so I will go over Foxy's white sections in white, tidying things up because that will take several layers. Another layer of the beigey tone here on Hedgehog and another layer on the pinky tones here before I hop into starting to layer on lighter tones on these dark washes that I initially did in the orange and in the browns. So I'll check back in once we are a little bit closer to these guys being done. Alright, this is where I am at with them. So Fox's colours are done. Paint jobs are a little different to what you may have seen on some of my other pieces. I didn't want to do these ones super detailed. I wanted to let the sculpture create its own shadows with these. So I'm not going to purposefully shade them. But Fox is done for the main paint job. I do need to do the eyes. But before I do the eyes, I want to varnish, because that locks in everything. Everything is safe and secure then. Bear is done too. Really happy with what a little cutie he turned out to be. Again, the eyes need doing, but I want to varnish first so everything is locked in. The base is just drying still. I want to make sure the base is dry on all of them, so I'll leave them tipped over. Hedgehog, happy with how he is looking. Got his blonde tips happening. And he, she, I don't know, Hedgehog. hedgehog is looking good. So I want to varnish all 3 of them now, and I'm going to use just the Matisse clear sealant again. It's the medium 12 one. Gives a nice, I used it on Mouse and Mighty Mouse. It gives a nice finish without being super shiny or particularly matte, and just shows off all the colors and details and things really nicely. So I'm going to hop in, varnish them, let them dry. Then I'll do these eyes and varnish those. And for these 2, we'll see how they're looking. They may get resin eyes put in, like little drops of resin put into the eyes to dome them out, but we will see if I get there or not with these guys. So time to put on some resin. Okay, varnish is on. It has dried. I'm going to work on Foxy first because Foxy got varnished first. Eyes. Now Fox's pupils tend to take up most of their eye, and making sure that I'm keeping this face head on to me so that I can get the gaze right. I want to get in the iris on both eyes and try and get it the same spot. So fingers crossed. I know that's not perfectly circled, but that's okay. That's pretty decent, I think. Yeah, I reckon I can work with that. Right, I'm gonna let that dry for Foxy. And so obviously Foxy is getting green eyes. And I was thinking green for the bear, but that's just because I like green eyes. I do think like brown eyes would be really fitting and adorable. I think anything else would be a little obnoxious. So I might do brown and like an amber tone here. Yeah. So I'll mix those colors up, I'll be back. All right, hedgehog. Now hedgehogs kind of don't look forward like that because they're not predator animals, they're prey animals. Their eyes are more on the side. That might be as good as I'm going to get it without making a huge mess. Nope, couldn't resist trying one more time, and that's come out cleaner, so cool. Okay, hedgehog's eyes are in too. I'll let all that dry and then I'll come back and Foxy will take a couple more bits to resolve. Got to put some pupils in for these guys and some eye shines. So back in a minute. So I've been messing around with the eyes. This is where Foxy is sitting at. I'm pretty happy with those. So once I'm sure that's dry, I will varnish over, locking that in. Oh yes, and I did do little nose shines on them all as well, because why not? This is Berry's eyes and Hedgehog's eyes were the most difficult just because of how like deep they are in the face, but I think it'll look okay once I add a little bit of resin. So once everything's dry, I'll revarnish the noses and Foxy's face and then drop a little bit of resin into their eyes. And that will be them all done. And they are all finished. So here is Berry. Now I've added resin on the toe beans and feet, the eyes and the nose. It really makes the eyes pop. It like brings the iris forward, and it makes that nose nice and glossy too. So I'm really happy with how he's turned out. I think he may be my favorite. He's all done. Little Miss Hedgehog, resin in the eyes and on that nose just to get them nice and glossy. Makes the eyes kind of pop and yeah, gives it a little bit more life. Really happy with, again, how Hedgehog turned out. She's very simple, but I think she's really sweet. And finally is Foxy. So I did do a drop of resin on the eyes, which I was a bit dubious about since these are flat eyes. I was worried it would run, but it has kind of stayed on the pupil, which is not the pupil, the iris, which is where I wanted it. Just gives them a little bit more life. Nice glossy nose. She came out absolutely gorgeous. I love the depth of the fur texture, like how the first dark wash still pops through, but there's kind of variation and yeah, depth to it. It came out really nice. I'm really happy with it. Also how white, I managed to keep the whites. Pretty pleased with that too, because that can be tricky. So she came out gorgeous as well, and I'm very much looking forward to having these three sitting on my desk and keeping me company this year. Maybe I'll do another one with more of them. We'll just have to see. I hope you enjoyed today's video, sculpting, painting, creating these little critters for my desk. I have really enjoyed this process, and it was really interesting to not use a reference for a change and just kind of work things up how I saw them in my head. I know my sketching's still not that great, but the sculpting that comes out of it I think is pretty good. Like, I'm pretty happy with it. So let me know what you thought down below. Who was your favorite out of the three? Was it Little Berry, Foxy, or was it simple Little Miss Hedgehog? My favorite, honestly, I thought it would be Foxy, but it's Berry. I can't help it. He's just too cute. The pose, the colours, the eyes, particularly once the resin gets dropped in, the eyes kind of come alive. He's definitely my favourite. Who was your favourite? I'd love to know down below. And if you would like to catch any other sculpting that I do here or other arts and crafts, there's plenty of crochet and I'll be trying out some new things coming up. So if you don't want to miss out on anything, hit subscribe down below and I will see you in the next video. All right, have a great day. Bye.